All right,
Good
back.
evening, guys. Just
Had a
bums talking.
had a little hiatus.
Yeah. It's been a minute.
Niggas is busy.
Yeah, end of the semester was rough.
In the semester,
School and shit,
school,
graduation.
graduation for some.
Oof.
Wow. Started through that in there.
Yeah, but yeah. So we back trying to keep this every week. We'll see how that goes. We got a lot to talk about.
Absolutely.
We're just gonna dive in.
So, picking up, I know you guys just graduated college.
We did do that.
So, like, how does that feel?
Oh man. I mean, man, take it away.
I don't really know because like I'm still kind of here.
Kind of
working
same.
it.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what it feel like. But ask me next semester, so I got you.
Ask me in a couple weeks, because after these 2 summer classes, then I can give you an answer. But like right now, I'm kind of just like, I don't know, kind of like in limbo right now. It's not really making sense. It's not really like sinking in yet.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's kind of surreal. The fact that these 4 years went by so fast, like
Super
it's
quick.
crazy. And to think about like starting my career and life and shit, it's just like something I'm not even trying to focus on right now. Like, so, man, yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, I have a whole nother year.
Forget it. We'll pick it up for you next year.
Yeah, next time. We'll talk to you about that next year. Yeah.
But the crazy thing that keeps shocking me is every time I think about getting ready for fall semester, like I just remember that you don't have a fall semester.
I don't, man. So like literally, like I ain't gonna have nothing to do in like August.
Yeah, I feel like though, like coming down from it, if you're not going to something that's the same, like energy wise, like schedule, like classes from 9 a.m. to like a certain time, it's gonna be kind of an adjustment period for you because you go from such a high stimulus type of lifestyle to just going and doing like
Right.
So I'm not looking forward to that adjustment, but we're gonna see how it goes.
It's like you constantly have to keep yourself busy. So
Always.
it's like the summertime in a sense, but it's like every day is summer.
Yeah. But then in the summertime you get bored after a while.
Yeah,
because all your friends be here and they be there, and you be like, damn.
Yeah, summertime be trash over here. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I be like, you gotta keep yourself occupied, because if not, then you just wanna be home,
Absolutely.
angry.
No, yeah, that's just legit the worst. Like man.
Hell yeah, you must be like, oh, wash the dishes when I get back, and I want you to make dinner. I be like, whoa, like, don't act like I'm gonna be here. You have to like leave, try to make plans and stuff. Then everybody in class still, because you still go to school and shit, bro.
I feel like not having nothing to do for the next day, or like not having anything planned for the next day, is the worst feeling.
Yeah.
Because it's like you going to sleep, waking up with nothing.
To do nothing. To just lay in that bed. You like,
wait. I mean, sometimes I like that though. Sometimes,
but like Saturday, Sunday, maybe a Friday.
Yeah, I love not having nothing to do the next day. Like,
but like in the fall. I don't know how that's gonna
like,
feel for me. I'm so used to just
like literally
class.
For like 12 plus years, like we've been having to do stuff
every single day. And the only time we had off was the summer. Now I'm about to have off in the fall.
That's gonna be a little weird.
It's gonna be a big adjustment.
I'm just happy that we're gonna have so much time. Like I feel like school really like it was in the way for a lot of like the personal creative shit that I wanted to do. So like now I just feel like I'm kind of like free now to do everything I kind of wanted to do.
Absolutely.
At the same time, I was trying to do school shit and it just wasn't working. So like now I could really focus on like being creative and like just dishing shit out. Like, so I'm happy about that. Like the extra time that I'm about to have.
Yeah, they say sometimes if you're passionate about what you about what you want to do,
right.
Where's the heart, bro?
Where's the heart?
If you're really passionate about what you want to do and what you are doing, like factors such as like school and other things shouldn't get in the way. But sometimes school really just be
in the way.
They set you up for failure every
all the time.
Like, it's just no way to avoid it.
Yeah, at all.
Nope.
You just get hit with paper after paper
project and all that shit, time consuming shit.
And then they want you to come to class,
all at the same time. Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah,
like, what do you mean?
They get mad when you don't come. It's
like what you mean? Like you gave me 3 3 projects
you
in the paper.
you know what you was signing. Like,
3 weeks
come on
from
now.
now. I don't have
You want
time
me to
for you.
come to? Like,
To listen to something else?
Nah,
no,
it don't work
I will
like
not
that.
be present.
Either
in
I
class.
get this done, or
What do you want?
I'm saying? Either or.
Yep.
It's not gonna
Can't
be
be
both.
both.
Not at all. Nah. Happy that's gonna be over though.
Yeah, for sure.
I could, you know what I'm saying? I could get used to not having classes and shit in the fall if I know that I don't gotta do that. I'm happy about that, like, bro, because this last semester was fucking crazy.
Yo,
like,
it was the worst one I've ever had.
The worst I've ever had.
Absolute semester.
This last year wasn't that bad for me. Last year was terrible, right? Like research and tech.
Oh yeah, okay.
Worst class in my life.
Nah, mine wasn't that bad.
Last year as a whole was pretty tough. I had the big musical. I had some of my harder classes. So I had like I got used to those hard classes for this year, but I just had so many this last semester that it was kind of hard to like balance my time and get all that work done. But last year, like, I was like hit with like some of the hardest shit I've been hit all of college. So yeah, it was pretty tough.
I think last summer was probably tough for me.
Last summer?
Yeah, last summer was definitely tough for me. But other than that, the semester was.
Last summer was cool. I had just 2 summer classes. It was mad easy. I was chilling. This summer
was cool, but I don't know. Like, I feel like last summer was good, but at the same time it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's like we had that show in the summer.
Right. Oh shit! I forgot about that. I hated that. It was fun, but I don't know. Just having to come, like, it was almost like having, because I had summer classes, but then the show was like right after that, so it was like I never really had a break.
Right.
So I was like having to come here every day and shit. Like, it was cool, but like I just wanted to like have some free time.
Oh, this our first year not doing the Fringe Festival.
Yeah, in 2 years, yeah.
Oh,
We did a Fringe festival every year for the last 2 years. I mean, hey, it's still early. Like, you never know. We might do fucking Connecticut Friends. Like, we did all the tri-state area.
We did Jersey.
We did Jersey and New York. But yeah, so
somebody got to play out there. They need a stage
throw
manager.
Throw it in the Fringe. We got you.
That ass.
But yeah, so some of the hot topics going on right now.
Hot topics.
I guess you guys will start.
What you want to start off
I mean,
with?
we should probably
recent,
we should probably go like chronological, like, cause we supposed to do this a long time ago.
Right.
So
we're gonna go.
All right, so Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. Number one, Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
Guy, Bill Cosby.
Oh man.
Damn, yo,
The GOAT.
Shit.
Bill Cosby. I don't even know.
Yeah,
so what are the specifics of the story? So basically, this happened a long time ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like these ladies are just now coming out about it. And I thought there was like a statute of limitations. I guess not.
Yes, I thought that too.
I feel like it is.
And it's like every time you bring that up,
I feel like it is a statute of limitation on it, but I feel like because he was the man that he is, and I guess like the way the women were going about it, and plus the time we live in now, everybody's trying to like accommodate, which is a good thing because a lot of women do need to be, looked at, and then to be their cases be seen at by a judge, and then they go through this process.
Right.
But I think because it was Bill Cosby, these women in the time that we live in, they took it really hard at him.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that what he did was right. It's not right at all. But this man is about to probably die in prison.
Oh, he is definitely.
He's gonna probably die in prison.
Mm-hmm.
But like these women deserve their justice. But it's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Like, you want to feel bad for him because he's an old man now trying to collect his coins off this little Bill Cosby reruns on TV land.
Right.
But then you also want justice for the women who had to go through this when they was kids.
Exactly. And then it's a lot. It's so much.
Yeah,
it's so much with
so
this.
much.
Because you gotta understand, this also kind of like ignited the Me Too movement.
Absolutely.
Like, it was the very first kind of like out sexual assault case that kind of like hit mainstream. So it started that. But for me, it's like 2 things. I kind of don't. I've got to find the right way to say this, but it's like I feel like it's like you said, a double-edged sword, but in a different way. Like, it's much easier now for women to come to front about dealing with these issues, right? But also, I feel like because it's so many women doing it, that other women can finesse, like. And I don't want to take away from the fact that women are actually getting assaulted, But I feel like it's so easy now because it's so many cases to be like, oh, something else happened with somebody else, and somebody can catch a coin off of that when we don't really know. Like for example, the Aziz Ansari case.
Yes.
Like it was basically he had a bad date. Mm-hmm. He took somebody out. He brought her back home, and
they had like I was just recently informed that when he took her out and she went back to his place, that during her time there, they were both naked, and she gave him oral sex basically. And so by doing that, it's like, all right, so like we all we all smart here. It's like if someone like performs oral actions, I'm trying to say this, but the politically correct way.
I mean, you don't have to.
You
gotta censor yourself.
So basically, if somebody give you head, in your mind, you thinking, all right, we about to go into this now.
Of course.
So after she did that to him, in his mind, he's thinking, oh, we're about to. Mm-hmm. But apparently, she was giving him cues or signs that she didn't want to engage in sexual activity.
But see, okay, go ahead, finish. I'm gonna let you.
It's a lot,
and he wasn't getting them. But once she said no, that's when he stopped.
Exactly.
And
as he should have.
But my thing is, like, for me, whenever I'm in, in my own, behind closed doors, doing whatever I'm doing, I always ask first. Like, it's always like a thing you're supposed to ask. Like, I know people don't think like it's gonna ruin the mood. Like, if I ask her if this cool, and I get that. Like, it might ruin the mood, but like, it's better to be safe than sorry. I'd rather ask, like, is it cool if I do this to you? Like, is it cool if we do this right now?
Right.
And you tell me yeah or no, then for me to just assume that we good. And like, even like people in relationships, you can't just always assume that they're gonna always be good having sex with you. Like, you'll be like you cool with this? Like, this alright for you? And they be like yeah or no. Like,
I definitely understand where you're coming from, but I feel like for one, you should know the person enough.
Yeah. In a relationship, you should know when.
But even though like that can still be like you can still be able to like we good. Like at a point, like I know we good.
Yeah.
And I get that. I'll definitely say like at a point, I'm like, all right, I know we cool. Everything's gonna be alright. But it's still, whenever you meet somebody for the first time, for sure, you have to ask them. Like,
for the first time. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, for the first time, it's like
it depends on the relationship. Like if y'all good, y'all been together for a minute, then you shouldn't have to be so direct.
No, you shouldn't have to be direct.
You know what I'm saying? Like you should just know when or when not to. Yeah.
Exactly.
But in this case,
in
like
that case, I feel
it seemed like it was mutual, and then out of
case,
nowhere,
you can't assume that though. In that case, because they just met, it was his first date, and you can't assume that just because she gave you this, that means to go ahead for you. You got to be able to
but he didn't proceed. Like he stopped.
He stopped. Okay, so see.
So then what did
he really didn't do anything wrong.
So if there was no I mean maybe she felt uncomfortable. I'm not sure what the case is.
Yeah, she did feel uncomfortable. That's why she brought it up to the media because she said that she felt weird, uncomfortable, and I guess upset that he wasn't catching her cues.
A lot of people don't have the same social cues as everybody else, so
especially because they don't know each other.
Yeah, I don't know you, so I'm not sure what you're thinking.
Then she should have said something.
She's been like, I'm not really cool. I'm okay with with this me giving you head right now, but I'm not really cool with us going any further. And he's been like, all right, cool, whatever. A lot of people want most of the time, especially in our generation, they just want head or some sex and then that for you to leave. That's all they really want.
That's it.
But if you was comfortable with enough giving him head and then not having any other type of penetrational sex, then he probably would have been fine with that. But you can't you have to be able to be verbal.
Just
you have to be verbal and everything.
Yeah, there's no way that she just expected him out of
nowhere. So he had to be verbal with asking her, and she had to be verbal with telling him. So at both of them, in this sense, they're not really doing the right thing.
So definitely in that case. But I feel like it kind of ruins the mood. If you...
It do, but you can always get back into it. But my thing is, I'd rather have consensual good sex than to have assume sex. I don't know if you cool with me doing this, and then later on I'm like, damn, I didn't really ask her if she was cool with it. And then now I'm like, well, damn, I don't know if...
That's never happened.
Yeah,
I've never once asked, ever.
I've always asked.
No, I've never. I mean, because you just know, you know what I'm saying?
After a while, I know, with the first time, I'm like, all right, it's cool, it's okay. The first few times, so I could get an idea what their face looked like when everything happened.
I understand that. I understand that. Yeah, better safe than sorry. I get it. I get it.
From my sense, I look for like, not to be ironic, but I look for like cues and things, and like I try to catch to see how the girl reacts. It's like if we're kissing and making out, like I'll try to take it further, and if I sense a hesitation, that's when I'm gonna pull back. Yeah. Or like
but
if I put my hand,
I got another point. I got another point.
Wait.
But see, some you got to deal with girls who play hard to get, right? And they want you to be persistent. They want you to, because they're gonna say no but mean yes. But if you
see, I don't like that.
Exactly, because then you get caught up, because it's like if you back up, they're gonna be like, well, then you didn't really want it, but then. Because they want me no. Exactly, that's the thing. So like they want you to put up a fight. So like, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta deal with that.
At some point, you gotta be like, all right, so now stop the fight, and then we gotta get to. But like I see, like in the beginning, like y'all playing around or whatever, it's cool. But like you were saying, like you would move forward, like see if like she was feeling like you moving ahead from the kissing. I'm like, are you cool with this? Like that's what I was like, you good with this? And they be like, yeah, and then go back to it. Like it's not like a long conversation about why I'm doing this and what I'm doing, but it's like, are you cool? Are you moving forward? And people who play hard to get, I don't like that shit.
Yeah, like, but most girls do that.
Bro. I want you to be blunt, like yes, no, maybe so.
Because like they'll come into a situation not wanting to do it, but like not being firm. They just kind of wasn't like they like didn't want to initiate anything. They want you to initiate it. They didn't want. You know what I'm saying?
Why you want me to initiate things?
That's the thing.
You better mind your own. You know what you want.
I've never had a girl play hard to get.
You not hard to get, but like
they playing
chill, but like actually really want it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
in those situations, I'm like, all right, I know you playing, so I'm gonna keep going. And if you tell me like, nah, stop, I'm like, all right, cool.
Right.
Whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand it. It's just that.
For a second, I was really like on the girl side, but then once I read the story, I was like,
this really about to be dumb dark.
I was like, I didn't even do nothing. So Aziz, I'm sorry.
Ew, son. You really did that? You really did that. Like, that was just... That shit... No, why you laughing at that shit?
No pun intended.
Because it was so ass.
Bro, that shit was garbage. That shit was really garbage. I'm really mad you said that, son, with hella confidence. Like, you back that... Like, you was thinking about that for like a good 10 minutes. I know you was waiting for the moment.
Yo,
I
nah.
knew you was waiting for that shit.
Bro, alright.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's move past that. So it started with Bill Cosby, and you had a bunch of other.
Yep, absolutely.
Harvey Weinstein.
They even tried to accuse Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, we're not even gonna get to that. Not yet. Because that's crazy.
He was like,
so Harvey Weinstein, Louis C.K., Kevin Spacey, like to name a few, like they hitting everybody.
I heard Dan Schneider got hit with one too.
But I mean, the only case that like it was kind of questionable was Aziz. Like everybody else is pretty much like
clear cut. Like
clear cut.
I was doing this. And never expected to get found out.
But then it brought up the question like, why did they wait so long? Especially for like Harvey Weinstein, he's been doing this for years.
So to speak on that, I feel like I know. Like just from like past experiences and also like things like that happen in people's lives that I know and like in my life, it's just like you never feel like comfortable with it. Like being a woman, you always have to be on your P's and Q's in a sense because you never actually feel safe in the world around men because they never really make you feel safe because you always like the object of their affection rather than just being an actual human being. So for women to come out and say, like, this happened to me and this man did this to me, it's also very, very hard because they have to, like, open themselves up completely again to retell that entire story, to retell that entire experience that might have been the worst experience of their actual lives.
Right.
And then have to tell it to a court and have them go through it and have them comb through and say, like, oh, maybe, like, you were the cause of it. And, like, a lot of times people are like, oh, what were you wearing? Like, people, like, who ask that, like, what were you wearing? What were you saying? What were you doing? Like, were you drunk? That type of stuff, like, is what keeps people from saying, like, this happened to me because they don't want to be looked at as, like, the cause of it from them living their lives. So that's why I feel like women take a lot of time to take the time to say, I want to say it now.
Right. So, and I mean, also, just because it was so many, they were comfortable enough. And, like, the whole female liberation movement, it just, like, I guess.
And it only takes one person, like, what, this happened to me. And then everybody's like, you know what, like, she had enough courage to do it, so I'm going to do it too.
Exactly.
So everybody's able to just come out and then say their stuff and say their stories. And it might have took a while and it might have been years, but at least right now they feel like it's a time for them to get justice. Right.
And, I'm not mad at that. You know what I'm saying? It's time for women to stand up for themselves and, get the respect that they deserve and put these people away. I'm not mad at that at all. Word. So we talked about that. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we gotta keep it moving.
We gotta jump on this Kanye train, son.
We doing that?
Yeah, man.
Okay. I guess that kind of happened.
It happened
right after that.
Yeah, right after that.
Yeah. Wow. So it started with the tweets, because usually like right before our album comes out, he gets on Twitter and starts talking crazy. Mm-hmm. So I started with like talking about like just like random shit, what people were kind of like, usually with Kanye, like people were like agreeing with and like, oh blah blah, that's that real shit. He's speaking facts, like all that. He was just talking just like random stuff about like money, just like stuff about like how you should do stuff. But then it took a little turn.
Big ass turn.
And I saw it. I remember when I saw it. He tweeted just a picture of the MAGA hat. He was like, I finally got my MAGA hat shine. I was like, hella fire emojis. And that shit had me crying. Just the fact that he had a MAGA hat was just funny to me. Like, so it started with that, and then I guess to explain it, and then he took a picture with it on too, with like other people. And I guess to explain it, he said something like, "Yo, Trump is my boy. We both got dragon energy. Like, just off the wall, just saying crazy shit. Like, let me see if I can pull up like some of the tweets. But yeah, like Trump. Yep, you don't have to agree with Trump, but the mob can't make me not love him. We are both dragon energy. He is my brother. I love everyone. I don't agree with everything everyone does. That's what makes us individuals, and we have the right to independent thought. And then Trump responded, "Thank you, Kanye. Very cool."
Ew.
Yep. My MAGA hat is signed with like 20 fire emojis. So how y'all feel about Kanye being a Trump supporter?
I mean, you really can't. Damn.
What do I even go?
Lost a word.
Like, I feel like it's just the way he's going about it. Yeah. I feel like I know people who are Trump supporters and we're able to have, conversations about politics and then be able to still be cordial with one another. But the way Kanye going about it and the way people view him and how he came from a very, urban part of Chicago, and he grew up in that, and the fact that Trump is doing things that not really supporting the urban community, I couldn't be a Trump supporter because he's not supporting my people.
Right.
He's not supporting me and the people that I grew up with. So it's just like, how can I support somebody who's doing that?
Right.
So for me, when Kanye was whining about all this, and then he made this whoop-diddy-scoop joint, that was not it. That was not it for me, yo. That was the last.
That shit actually kind of tough.
That was not, yo.
At first it was funny, but like
with that song. Like that's
yo, that was whoop-diddy-scoop. I was like, what kind of? And that was it.
The people were saying that was the best sample.
And he said second verse, but it was never a first verse. The first
verse was the scoopity. Yeah.
No, the second verse was the whoopity scoop.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, but what was the first verse though? Like, you didn't say nothing.
That shit was fire though.
That shit,
it was not.
It was dope. It was produced well.
I didn't catch his message at all. It really maybe went over my head.
But then he released the other one first. I guess at the same time, the Ye versus the People with T.I. It was kind of went back and forth about all his media right now. Mm-hmm. Like T.I. was I guess speaking the liberal black side, and he was kind of defending himself. And so that was pretty cool to see where his mind was and exactly why he was doing it. But two things come up when I think about this. One is that usually when anybody ever supports Trump as black, you always push him towards the coon, right? So we always think that they're cooning. And I don't necessarily think Kanye is cooning. I just think the fact that Kanye always needs to be. Kanye thinks he's a genius, and I think personally he's a musical genius. And usually geniuses in history were never understood, so he always needs to be misunderstood, right? So what's the thing that everybody you get a consensus on the fact that people don't like Trump? So he's like, you know what, I support Trump. So let me be on the other side. Let me be over here, and everybody else is over here. So he always wants to be on the outside. He always wants to be different. He always wants to be creatively, or he brought up the term free thinker. He always wants to be like different than everybody else, and so I just think that I understand why he's like that, and I understand why he wants to. His music is like that, but I feel like the way he went about it just wasn't the right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like the way I get that you want to be different, but you don't have to, because it's so much that Trump represents that you don't want. Like I get it. Yeah, I get it, but like you don't want that.
I feel like there's other ways he could learn about being an individual, being different.
Yeah,
he had so many other avenues to go towards, and like can still be like that outsider, but this wasn't it. Especially like the day and age we live in now.
Exactly.
Where we're closer and closer to a revolution every single day.
Mm-hmm.
We need as many people as we can to like in our community, like you know what, we're not gonna take this no more. And the fact that it was like a major part for a lot of people in the community. Like I speak to people now, and they're like, "Yo, Kanye's music from before, like it really helped me through some tough times."
Right.
And it's just like if he could do that for people, and then now turn around and do this, it's just like you can't expect them to still be on your side, like the community to still be on your side after this. Like you can't just be like, "Oh, I'm trying to be different, I'm trying to be a free thinker," and then expect us to be like, "Yeah, we're gonna still support you, Kanye."
Right.
People gonna still buy his sneakers. People gonna still
listen
to his albums.
Yeah,
like he's not gonna lose no money.
Fast forward to his release of his album, and people forgot. Like
yeah, they're like, "Oh, this song is fire." Kanye, I'm like, didn't you just call him a coon last week?
And also, he just released, well not released, but he just opened low income houses, in I think Los Angeles, and those houses actually look fire. Like,
nice.
Like them shits look like some shit you'll see on Black Mirror.
Oh, for real?
Like,
wow, some like OD modern, like.
Some Black Mirror was fire.
Like, I'm looking at his tweet and
fucking doing shit and with the holograms and shit. Like,
I'm looking at his tweet and I can kind of get what he's talking about. How like we don't like I don't agree with what everyone does, but at the same time, it's like I'm going back off like what you said. It's like he's trying his hardest to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I feel like by him doing this is equivalent to someone walking outside with shoes on their heads. Like they want to be looked at as different and separate from everyone else. Yeah. So like, and they want eyes on them. So I feel like personally, I feel like Kanye don't really fuck with Donald Trump.
I think he just want the
eyes. That was another kind of, I guess, conspiracy that he was all doing this for publicity for his album, and that and I think underlined that was another reason. He knew that people were gonna like.
But then I hope he has an escape plan for this because he can't come back from this.
I feel like he kind of did though. Yeah. Because there's only very few people who are still like, oh, well, yeah, I said I wasn't gonna support him. I'm still banned. I still don't. He's canceled. Blah blah blah. There's only a very few people who still. People are fucking with his album, which is crazy. The mastery in that is like unmatched. Like the fact that he literally bounced back.
Like, he was waiting, like he
just set this up.
He did. It was a setup.
I mean, he didn't need to do that though. We was gonna listen to his album.
Yeah, like because people still rock with Kanye.
There was no reason for him.
It was no. So I
and
feel
it's
like
good work too. So
I feel like he definitely did this either, like you said, for publicity and just for the eyes to be on him. Or like he actually feels this way. Like
I feel like it's half and half. It's definitely half. He knew what he was doing, but there's some truth to it too. I think.
I feel like what he was trying to do is he was trying to lower people's expectations. So like
but also I realized. Well, he said after his album release that he actually changed his album because of all the stuff that was happening in the media. It was a whole different cut of his album that he took songs off, like changed some songs. So then you kind of think that maybe it's more so his actual thoughts and less the publicity because of what happened in the media, he changed his album to kind of explain it.
But my thing is also like even after these tweets, he goes on. I think it was like TMZ and says slavery is a choice. Right. So that happened.
That's
why I'm really thinking like I'm on the 75%. Like this is actual his thoughts, and then the rest 25 is like publicity.
I think that's kind of what it is. Yeah. And speaking of that, slavery is a choice, and his whole antics there. At first, when I first watched it, of course, just like everybody else, I was like, "What the fuck is he talking about? Exactly. Like, slavery is a choice. What do you mean? Like, literally, we've been enslaved for like 400 plus years. Mm-hmm. How? In whose mind was that a choice?" But he also explained the fact that he meant it was kind of like enslaving our minds. We were like mentally enslaved. And the fact that not choice being that we could just get up and leave, but choice being that we outnumbered them so much that at some point throughout those 400 years, we could have tried to do something in some sort of a revolution and try to overtake them. But because we were mentally enslaved, we were so used to being slaves that we didn't want to do that. That was kind of his mindset.
I also feel but there are I read that there are tons of stories about slaves who overcame their masters in their house and they took control of the land. So I feel as though it wasn't as though we were like we just didn't do it or think of it because like of course we had to think of it's mad of us. I just think that we just weren't equipped with the right
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Like with the right weapons or like technology at the time to fight the Europeans because at the time the Europeans were like the most powerful army.
Oh yeah.
Was.
Just imagine somebody coming into your house now at 2:00 in the morning and bust up in there and take you out of it. You're gonna be like confused. And imagine you were a kid or a child and then you get taken. And now like this, you working every single day from sun up to sundown is now your new life. That will just become your new life in your head. Like you won't remember what it was like before when you were back home, sleeping and not doing nothing much. So like it's all like I don't think brainwashing is the proper word, but I feel like it all came from like just being afraid of losing your life and being able to they want to be able to have your kids and grow up and not die trying to save yourself.
And also, you're in a foreign land where like you can't understand their language.
Exactly. You don't know anything.
You can't read their writing.
But then you bring up the fact that I'm playing devil's advocate right now. 400 years, right? So at some point you would learn the language. You would, you know what I'm saying? Like you would assimilate to American culture, whatever it was at the time.
But the thing is, we have people who did try to fight back against. We have Harriet Tubman. We have all these people who fought back against them. But like I guess it just was never enough because a lot of people are like still in that scared mindset. They're still like they remember like when they were a child, they got taken from their home and they don't want that to happen to their kids or like their friends or their family. So it's like some people did like speak out and try to like get away from this lifestyle, but other people didn't. So if we have numbers, then yes, I understand we could have took them over. But you have to realize that this wasn't the life that they were meant to live.
Right.
Like this wasn't the choice. They chose to come over and take us. This wasn't our choice to begin with.
Right. And then you also got to think about the fact that, I mean, what kind of life would they have had
outside
of slavery?
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they take over the plantation or whatever, but they're still 3/5 of a human. Like, you still you don't have the same opportunities as a white person. So, who's to say that life is worse than, you know what I'm saying? It's just, they just didn't know. You know what I'm saying? But just to kind of shed more light on that, not just the fact that he just said, oh yeah, we could just walk off the plantation, like, come see you later. Like, nah, it wasn't like that. It was a little more complex. But still, just that whole mindset, people didn't want to kind of fuck with. And, of course, people was, like, reacting negatively. But, I mean, all that shit washed away.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is make good music, and then
everything is like, I'll forget it, bro. Everything is cool,
everything is cool. None of that shit happened. The tweets are deleted, and Kanye is a genius now, and that's it. Case closed. That's America. This is
America. Childish Gambino, that was some fire.
That happened too.
I was about to mention.
Oh wow.
Super fire.
You should probably write things down. But yeah, so that came out.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, you cool?
Yeah, I'm cool. I got it.
All right. Yeah, This Is America happened too. Oh man. Wow.
That shit changed my life.
It was very, very, very good. I'm a big fan of like Donald Glover since like the beginning, since like Camp and all that. Like
since
his
way Bonfire, since
everything.
Way back in the day.
I've been a big fan of him.
Oh yeah.
And he's been doing music and stuff like that. I wasn't really into his community show.
I couldn't really get into it. I can't even.
But I respected him stepping out.
He's a good comic. I watched his stand-up special. I watched a couple episodes of the first season.
Whoa, Atlanta is very, very good.
I mean, this man can win a Grammy, a Golden Globe, and a fucking Emmy all in the same year. I mean, this man is a renaissance. Like, he literally does it all and excels at everything he does.
Everything.
So, I mean, and he's black, so come on now. We can't be mad at that.
Can't be mad.
He's basically the living proof that you can do anything.
You literally can do anything. There's this saying, Jack of all trades, master of none, but literally he is a master of all of his fucking trades. Like, it's crazy.
Very gifted, very gifted.
Oh yeah.
So This Is America was very, very
Oh
good.
man, yeah. The fact that it depicted the visuals,
crazy.
like just everything about it was just amazing. Like the cinematography, the way the camera moved, every little piece of symbolism, because it's so much.
And you wasn't like, I had to watch it twice.
You gotta watch it.
The first one, I was like watching him dance. I'm like, yo, why he dancing? And the second one, I was listening to the music. And I'm looking in the background. I was like, yo, this is a lot that I didn't see the first time. And it's just like, it just told a bigger story left and right. I'm just like, wow.
So so much. Like, and then literally like maybe like a week later was the Santa Fe shit, the shooting in Texas.
I think
like a week or two after
like
that.
A week or two.
Yeah, it was that, and literally like that shit just happened. Like it just and then at that it was like 22, I think 21 and 22 shootings that happened, and 23, and what it was, how many months? So the statistic was one every week, one shooting a week.
Out of this whole year, we had 23 shootings, and the year is
It's not even half a year yet.
It not really even just started.
It is now.
Yeah. And it's going to get worse in the summer because, when it get hot, everybody, attitudes and everything run high.
It's ridiculous.
So it's going to be quick.
I know people who hate going home after, like, the semester ends because, like, you never know.
Yeah.
Because the summer is so dangerous. Like, it's so scary. Like, people love coming here. People live in, like, Newark and other dangerous areas. They love coming to school because you just never know. And so after people leave, like, be safe, because like summer is wild, and it's scary. It's a scary time, man.
Especially in our towns, like Newark, Patterson.
Yeah, like it's just and it's just at this point it just don't even matter. Yeah, it don't even matter now. Like I remember when it's still bad, but I remember when it wasn't just like ruthless. Like it just wasn't just whatever. Like literally. People shoot instead of fight now. Yeah. It does not matter. Taking somebody's life is nothing. What happened to that?
Like, when did that change? I remember people used to get in fights all the time.
All the time.
Coming home,
brawls,
busted up.
Like,
busted lips,
middle school,
face,
the high school used to be brawls, campus high. Like, they used to always fight. Like,
then when did that change to the fact that you started bringing guns to school? And you start, like, bringing knives to a fight, and it's just the two of y'all, and now you winning because you had a knife? That don't count. You had a gun? It don't count. You didn't fight him with your fists. So it don't matter if you won or not. You stabbed this man over some dumb stuff. And the fights always be over some dumb stuff. And then the thing is now, it used to be different when you fought him. Like, you fight him over some dumb stuff. But, like, y'all both busted up and it is what it is.
Right.
But now you bringing a gun to a fight over some dumb stuff. And now you taking people's lives. You're about to go to jail and lose your life. Over some dumb stuff.
There's no concept of that, like of like the future or like what consequences do. There's no concept of that. Like
I just wanted to hear it now. I wanted to feel what I felt here and now, and it's just like
that's it. You can't think like that. Speaking of a knife though, and like gun control, I don't know if you know about England. They're so strict on gun laws that literally they have twice as many knife incidents than we have as like gun, like because all they do is like stab out there. So it's like you could take guns away, but they're gonna find something else. Like so literally they're known as like they stab. Like all they do is stab, rob and stab. Like
bro, fight somebody with your hands, son. Just use your hands, the ones that God gave you. Tussle, fight, do what you try to do, and then go home.
It's honestly sick.
Like what happened to that? What happened to just fighting?
I don't know. People scared.
Everybody, I feel like everybody in the world is just scared right now.
I remember I was on a bus. I told you about I was on a bus, and it was just two dudes talking, and one of them was like, he always messing with me, bro. He always messing with me, bro. Like, and then I'm not gonna fight him. No, I'm not gonna fight him because he bigger than me. I'm not gonna fight him. I'm just gonna shoot him. Like you could hear the tremble in his voice. You could hear how afraid he was that he couldn't fight him. So I'm just gonna shoot him. It's sick.
That's really not the thing.
It's crazy.
That's not it. Because I remember that back then, back when I was younger, people used to be bigger than, my cousins. So he would just bring extra people with him.
Exactly.
So, and then
I got my cousins, I got my family.
Exactly. So, they would jump the dude, and then they would come back next week, and they would fight again, and it'd just be that'd be how it was. That's how the order was. But now, it's just say the same situation with my cousin, this dude is big, he bring a gun or a knife, his life is over now. If you take this man's life, it's done. And it's just
people don't understand.
Back in the day, it's like, all right, if you about to fight somebody, you go home, get your cousins,
Mhm.
your sisters.
Tell everybody.
Everybody else in the neighborhood.
They go there to your fight. They not gonna jump in. They just gonna watch.
They just gonna watch. Yeah.
Watch you, and then somebody else.
If
jump
somebody
in,
else, they always gotta be
all
ready.
Jump in, right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it was back in the day. And today, people would rather like shoot or stab, just so they don't have to
tell nobody they got punked out. Like I'd rather tell somebody like, oh, somebody tried to punk me at school, and y'all come up there with me and try to fight them, than me talking about I'm gonna take a knife or a gun and try to shoot this man and deal with him myself. Like, nah, you're not about to punk me.
People think they're above the law, man, and it's insane. Like literally, you're ruining your life and somebody else's just off some stupid shit.
Exactly.
And the law be out here wilding.
Oh.
Like I always want to like mention how I understand it's like the cops be wilding down south and like Virginia, but like we in like Newark and East Orange. More than likely, the cops that pull you over is probably your aunt or your uncle or like your
people
father.
don't got families like you, bro. Like
literally,
but like like I'm not being literal, but I'm like they knocked the cops from down south, so like they probably not about to shoot you off rip.
But you can never be sure.
Yeah,
you never know.
I mean, it's a lot of white people in the police force in these underprivileged communities.
Back in the day, they used to have police who lived in the community.
They knew everybody in the neighborhood. They would come around. They would like talk to them.
Exactly. So I feel like if you're not living in the neighborhood you policing in, get the fuck out.
Yeah,
like you have to have the neighborhood you don't live in.
That's the thing. Police, being a cop has changed from protecting and serving to shooting and shit. Like it's no more.
You protecting. They only protect themselves. They don't protect nobody in the community. It's just themselves, and it's just like. If you live there, if you met these people, if you talk to them, you know that Lil Johnny and Timmy are some good ass kids. They bad as hell.
Right.
They mama gonna whoop their ass when they get home, but they good kids. You don't have to shoot them because they out here fighting and then they get tough with you. They kids. You better back them up, tell them to sit down and listen up.
It's a lot of. I feel like the training is off. I feel like
they don't have no sensitivity training. They don't have nothing. Like
nothing.
All they know is about shoot. Point and shoot is all they know.
That's all they know.
When they get new cops, here's your gun, you point, you shoot. That's it. If you feel scared, take your gun out, point and shoot.
And literally, yeah, and that's
they're
afraid.
Doing. And
that's
they're like,
all it is.
oh, he was like, I hear sergeants and lieutenants talking about some. Oh, this cop was very new. He was a little bit afraid of the situation. He was nervous. Why you have nervous motherfuckers out here with guns?
That's no fucking excuse.
What?
What the fuck?
Why you got nervous dudes out here with guns, son?
Also, not to play devil's advocate, but also feel as though being a cop today, because of all the cop killings that been going around, is extremely hard. So even if you go to a neighborhood and you try to play with the little kids or talk to somebody
that's a problem. So then they gotta do something about that.
Yeah,
they gotta, because they represent a whole, so they would have to do something about that. Because
more community activities.
Yeah,
try to build that thing. They're gonna be resistant at first, of course, but if you're persistent and you keep trying with anything, people will eventually break down and let you in.
Yeah.
But if you just come once a week and they're like, nah, fuck you. And they're like, all right, well, fuck you then. You don't come back. Then it's going to still be the same way. We have to be persistent because no one's going to easily let you in their lives.
Not at all.
Especially not in the time we live in now. All these cops shooting people.
You're not supposed to be afraid of police.
You're not.
You're not supposed to be.
Yo, I be riding down the street, my windows down, my music blast. I see a cop. I turn that shit down quick as fuck. Roll my windows up.
Somebody
and
got
I just
killed
sit there
for that.
And both my hands on the steering wheel. I don't want to play with these people out here. I don't want to take no chances. Cause
what kind of life is that? Like,
I can't even enjoy my music on a summer day with my windows down. I don't want to.
Cause you don't want to start.
I don't want to start nothing. I don't want to have no problems trying to pull out my ID, anything like that happen.
That's ridiculous.
You seen that video?
Honestly, be cool as fuck around cops. I got pulled over one time. He was reaching for his gun.
See for what though?
For what? Was it dark outside?
It was dark. My car was red with black tinted windows.
But that shouldn't be an issue.
Oh yeah, but he got a different situation.
And my front window getting rolled down. So when the car was walking to my car, I had to open the door.
All right. All right, bro. So that's that's different, bro. That's different.
So as long as people don't do sketchy shit
like
that,
then you shouldn't be concerned.
Right,
if I'm rolling down my window, I'm being, I'm being cooperative and I'm being nice. I know people now, my friends, they have to record conversations. Like they get pulled over, they pull their phone out and they record the conversation. They don't feel safe enough to be like, I can't just talk to you.
That doesn't make sense. Cops gotta wear body cams now. Like, and that's been like.
But even then, you can't really trust the body cam footage. Everybody in the department is fucking.
Because they send it out when they want to.
They not for us.
And they said Bloomfield had the most pullovers for black people, and like this part of Jersey. But then it's like who else in Bloomfield right now? Right. So it's like it's nothing but black people really in Bloomfield.
Dead eye.
So
that's crazy though. Yeah, I mean it's getting out of control. And you know,
I wish the cops were for the people and not for themselves.
Well, like how it used to be.
Yeah,
Man. I mean, this is what this world is getting to, man. That's what it is.
But, so are you about to wrap this up?
If we want to end it on this, on this
note,
we got.
All right. I'm gonna get some little positivity bullshit. We got Drake and Pusha T shit, man.
All right, yeah, that's a lighter note.
That's a lighter note. We can end it on that Drake and Pusha T, man.
First of all, like Pusha T, like, like, come on, Pusha T.
Listen to that, man, son. I don't listen to
honestly,
like,
the last song,
where the fuck he came from?
The last song I fucked with from Pusha T, it wasn't grinding.
I was about to say, because that's his only song.
It wasn't grinding. It was a new God Flow featuring Kanye West. That was the last time I heard about him.
I think Kanye West bought his album cover because
that's a whole thing too. Yeah,
that's a lawsuit with Kanye because that's
he paid for it. He paid $85,000 for
that photo.
But
I think the family's like trying to like take actions against him.
Well, then he paid for it. So,
I don't know.
You know,
I don't know, but like it's apparently because it's her bathroom.
I understand. I definitely understand. But if he did the right things to get it, I don't know.
I don't really fucking Pusha T anyway. But this, he was signing him on fire.
So it started with Infrared, which is the last track on Pusha T's album, and he just said I think one line about Quentin Miller. We all know Quentin Miller is Drake's alleged ghostwriter. And so he said something about him writing Drake's raps, right? So Drake responded with Duppy, which at first listen I was like, I didn't really fuck with the beat. I wasn't really listening to it.
Right.
The second listen, I was like, okay, all right, he talking some real shit. He came for his wife.
Oh, see, that's what Drake started the shit then.
Yeah, Pusha initiated the
ghost writing though,
but he brought in the savagery though starting with his wife. Drake started that.
Drake started that shit. Yep.
And
Drake
then
got sensitive.
He talked about his wife. He talked about Kanye. He talked about like the fact that he did stuff. He did more for Kanye or some shit like that.
It's called him irrelevant.
Yeah, just like, and then he sent him an invoice saying that he for promotional because like nobody was gonna listen to his album if it wasn't for him igniting some beef with Drake and like album sales basically like
invoice?
He sent him an invoice for $100,000 to like for like reviving his career basically.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Drake is you know Drake petty.
Petty as hell.
You knew Drake was petty when he was performing back to back with memes of back to back behind him. You knew he was petty, but and so then after Duppy, I was like, damn, he flamed Pusha. Who the fuck is Pusha? But then Pusha came back.
Bro,
the story of Adidon, whatever the fuck it is.
Adidon.
And like, it's just like, damn.
Like, yo.
Nigga, it was a diss track at first. Then he was like, fuck that. You got a son, like.
You got a son?
From a porn star, fucking 40 sick. Like,
damn.
He just started saying hella shit.
She don't look that good, son.
He just started going off.
She don't look good. She like,
I didn't see what she looked like.
It's like the bottom of my foot.
Please pull up, please. Because I saw like glimpses, but I didn't really see it. She looked kind of good in the glimpses.
I ain't see the son though. I don't know if the son look alright. Is it his? Like, did he claim it?
He never.
Alright, so I feel like I don't know.
But I mean, and you got Drake fans saying, "Oh, this is shit we already knew about." Like,
who knew?
And then they call him Pusha T, like T-E-A, like because he spelled the T.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? People like, "Oh, you gossiping, supposed to be rap,
rapping,
all this shit."
That's her.
I see. Oh, he said she stink. He said he saying hella crazy shit. Like,
and he's talking about how you don't let your baby mother have type of baby shower that she had because that picture. Like,
he was just he was just like saying talking about Drake's father, the fact that his father left him. Like,
but I mean, everybody's father believe in him.
Yeah, that should be happening. That's just common.
It's like they was like, oh, you got all that money given to schools in Miami, you can't pay for your baby mother.
She had the little house thing, like
you can't pay for your baby mama.
She just threw that shit together.
Yeah, like what she got on,
with the little Walmart decorations and shit.
I feel like it's
come on, Drake, all the porn stars, man.
That's probably why that shit.
That's probably why
he said bring him home, bring that boy home. After that, I was like, all right, this is some real shit. But then I found out that some old head that's like the CEO of some Rap-A-Lot Records or whatever, Jay something, told Drake not to respond. And so that's it. Drake not gonna respond. That's the end of the beef or the diss tracks.
I feel like Pusha gonna keep going because he gonna try to keep pushing his buttons.
I feel like Drake gonna say some shit on some record on his album.
I feel like he's making a new album right now.
But okay, so here's the question: Drake, Pusha obviously won, right?
Obviously.
Is Drake's career over? Nah. Because niggas are dead questioning it.
Far from.
I don't think. I'm not gonna say far from, but I don't think it's over.
So this didn't end his career because people
Drake's
really
career was coming to an end.
No,
it wasn't.
Drake is at his peak. Drake is the most consistent artist.
Off of Nice for What alone, he is fired for a couple more years.
Bro.
It's about to be the summer song. Nice for What?
For when Drake releases an album every year, right? He's on every fucking track to fucking name, bro. Mm-hmm. In the middle of him releasing his own shit, he's always on somebody's album.
Yep, what's that shit?
Always.
Look Alive.
Look Alive. Like he's always on some shit. Fucking he did the Lemon remix.
Oh, that
like
remix shit.
Yeah, some people got some mixed reviews on that. Yeah, it was cool. But like literally, Drake is always on the radio. Mm-hmm. He's the #1 artist. I think my mother was reading me something yesterday of like the billboards or something. He's the #1 artist. I was like, rightly so. Cardi B's #2,
yeah,
which makes perfect sense. Yep. And yo, I was watching a video of Cardi B, and I was just like, bro, she's from the hood.
Yeah,
she's from the hood. Like,
if you watch her old music videos, dead ass like in the project somewhere in New York.
She is from the Bronx. She's from like the fucking slums. Like, and she's literally A-list right now.
Cardi B. Everybody know Cardi B.
Everybody know her. I was just saying, like,
what
she
her
was
real name is, I can't pronounce it, but Cardi B. Her Offset names is not.
Oh,
his name.
His name's some other shit too.
His name's some weird shit.
I forgot what they said.
We gotta be calling each other at home.
I forgot. It was some funny shit.
You calling y'all real names. You go by Cardi B. Like, we gotta be calling each other.
Yeah, Offset some bullshit. But yeah, I forgot. Yeah, so I was just saying, like, yo, she came from Love and Hip Hop. No, she came from Instagram. I was like, all right, she was funny on Instagram. She was IG famous.
Yep, IG famous.
You know, when her teeth was jacked and shit. Then she went to Love and Hip Hop, right? So I was like, that's it. I was like, that's lit. She made it off of Instagram. She on TV. Yeah, that's lit. Boom. That's all. That's all.
We expected.
She could have, and she would have been lit.
She would have been fine. Yeah.
She was not supposed to get off of Love and Hip Hop and become who she is right now.
They didn't expect that.
It was not supposed to happen. But like, bro,
they gave her a spot, and that was it. All she needed was one person to see.
It pays to be funny though. That's the moral of the story, because that's really what happened. Yeah. Fat Boy got 5 million followers. He from around the fucking corner.
He don't be doing shit either. Like, he's
from
really
around the corner, bro.
He was in some music videos. A couple.
Bro, he was in a commercial for Ciroc with Diddy, DJ Khaled, Dej Loaf, Chris Montana.
Funny as hell.
That's it. And that's the power of social media. It's a curse, but it's also like,
so make people famous.
It makes, like, literally. It's just what we trying to do. We're going to end on that. See y'all later.